are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are you all doing? And I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know I definitely had. And I definitely had one that, in terms of preparing the podcast, whoo, it definitely was a big one. And let me just go and start things off by saying that, oh boy, I think it has been quite a long time since I had a week in which it was just filled with so many stories and so much news that are worth talking about in AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. It's honestly the opposite effect of what happened a few weeks ago, in which there wasn't enough stories for me to actually go and put on a show. It's kind of like now all the news is trying to pick up the pace and get back for lost times, and now there was just so many of them. In fact, this morning I had to go and actually pick and choose and rearrange a whole bunch of stuff to know which stories to go and actually talk about. Like, which of the 5 stories that are we going to discuss here on AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? And I just want to go and put out a warning, first of all, that there may be a chance that not everyone is going to be happy with the choices that I've made on which stories that I'll be talking about here. But I mean, again, it is not an easy choice, but I did the best of my abilities to go and select which ones that I think would go and really make quite an unforgettable episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. So I hope you are all ready for that. But before we do begin, considering that we are still in the month of June, we do have another Pride Month charity highlight to go and discuss. And for this week, thank you, TK, for the subscription. And for this week, I decided to go and highlight for today's charity. It is going to be Equality Florida. Now, as you probably know, Florida is the state that hits the hardest when it comes to attacking the LGBTQ plus community, including trans people, especially when you got the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who really goes out of his way to push legislatures, bills, and new laws that would go and take away the rights of the LGBTQ plus community, taking away, not just their rights, but also their voice, and in some cases also their own existence, especially when a lot of the tactics that he would go and promote, they are not unfairly comparable to Nazi tactics, including censorship in the educational system, banning a whole bunch of books, promoting violence against the LGBTQ plus community, and promoting violence against anyone who would be trans. And speaking of Nazism, pretty much the fact that now those extremists are pretty much out in the open in Florida. In fact, just a few days ago, they were actually seen in the front gates of Walt Disney World, like just protesting and waving their swastika flags and stuff like that, which is honestly a shocking sight. I mean, isn't that the reason why, or at least part of the reason why, the US still has the Second Amendment, so that we would permanently silence Nazism and to go and exterminate extremist ideologies such as those? I'm just saying, where the fridge is the good guy with the gun in order to get rid of the Nazis in the US. But with all that said, though, the point of all this is that if there is one state in which the LGBTQ plus community needs help, it's definitely in Florida. And not to mention that as I am recording this, it is unfortunately the anniversary of the very unfortunate Pulse terrorist attack in which one person committed a mass shooting at the Pulse bar. So I think it is pretty much perfect timing to go and highlight an organization that would go and help out a community that is in desperate need to go and retain their rights, which is what Equality Florida would go and do. So if you would like to go and help out Florida citizens to go and actually protect their rights and to remind them that they are equally U.S. citizens as any other straight person or any other cis person is, then all you have to do is go to eqfl.org and you can go and donate to go and help out the LGBTQ plus community of Florida. So with all that said and done, now that I have brought out that highlight, I would like to go into the chat wall and I want to ask you all, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Are you ready, folks?
Yeah!
Oh, wow. What a perfectly timed subscription from King Cerulean. Thank you so much, dude. Wow, that is actually amazing. But I do see that everyone is ready right over here. So that's great to see. And without further ado, it is now time that we shall go and get things started. And with our first story that we have here, we will be talking about a trailer. And with this trailer, or speaking of which, considering throughout the week, we've actually had several animation-related trailers that would have been worth talking about here. Netflix put out a trailer for their animated series of Skull Island. There was also Warner Brothers that put out a trailer for the Venture Brothers movie. And then there was also Adult Swim that put out The Adventures of Superman. But we're not going to be looking into any of that, actually. What we are going to be checking out, though, is actually one that was just released today, or at least released on the day that I am recording this. And if you are excited, or if you had a great time with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, then that is just only the beginning, because we do have one other feature film that is also a superhero movie, and it's also an animated sequel. So, without further ado, let us go ahead and check out the trailer for the upcoming superhero sequel that I'm sure everyone is waiting for, Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie.
It's showtime!
And that is Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie, to which it will be coming out in theaters only on September 29th. Now, before I go into what we have just witnessed here, I gotta say that when it comes to the first Paw Patrol movie that came out a couple of years ago, I would honestly say that I surprisingly enjoyed it. Like, as a childless millennial, as some people would say, I was surprised to see that and also, like, I want to add that even though I never really watched an episode of Paw Patrol before, I surprisingly had a good time watching that film. I'm not saying that it was like one of the best animated movies that I have seen, or I was just like so shocked. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. No, nothing like that. I just remember that it was just, it was enjoyable. It was a lot of fun. And I mean, yeah, I do notice that a lot of it is like, it's a movie made for preschoolers, and that it's very unapologetic in terms of like the commercialism in there. Like, it's obviously built to go and sell toys, but still a lot of the elements that they do present, when it can be good, it can actually be really awesome. Like, the action scenes can actually be quite engaging, and there are times when it can actually be pretty heartfelt too. So yeah, honestly, back in, I think, 2021, when Paw Patrol the movie was released, it was one of the big surprises where I was like, oh wow, this is actually a lot of fun. I actually did enjoy that. And when I did hear that there is going to be a sequel, I was honestly down for it. I was like, okay, you know what? I liked what they did before, and I'll be down to see what they're going to do now with the Mighty Movie. So I did get, I didn't fully hype myself up, but I did feel optimistic about it. And, watching this, I will say that same excitement that I had before, it did come back here. However, I will say I don't think this is really the kind of movie that I would approach this thinking that this would be like, oh, this will be as amazing as Into the Spider-Verse. Like, I'm not going to go in thinking that I will go and watch revolutionary animation or intricate storytelling or like showing a lot of complexities in terms of the message that it wants to deliver or the characters going through complex development or anything like that. No. Like, honestly, this is the kind of movie that needs to have the same approach as the Super Mario movie. You're just there to have fun. And honestly, there's a lot of moments that I do see. It looks like it is made to have a lot of fun. Like, one thing especially is in terms of the action. Like, I see like the fast pace that they are gonna go with like all the major vehicles and all the superhero moments. Like this, like especially the last shot where you see like you see the blue dog. I honestly, yeah, that you could tell how much I don't know about PAW Patrol because I keep forgetting the names. But like you see you see one of the puppies just like, you know, jumping and doing like these really cool flips. So in that regard, I could see a lot of the potential where like we will have those same strengths from the first movie be integrated into here. I could see how the action actually looks super cool. So in that regard, I'm sure they can go and sell it. But also there are some things that what I personally want to see, like some of the dumber moments that I did like in the first movie, like they're also coming back. Like one thing that actually unironically got me excited is when we see the comeback of PAW Patrol's signature villain.
Well.
Humdinger. He looks different than I remember.
We got Humdinger coming back. This time he's just big. Like that, like this is the superhero element that we have. Like, what if one of the villains is the regular villain that we have, but now it's just stupidly big? And oh my god, like I think like Humdinger in the first movie is the one that it's the one thing I really enjoyed the most in the first PAW Patrol movie because of how much he's such a stereotypical villain. Like we're talking about Snidely Whiplash combined with Elon Musk and Donald Trump levels of evil, complete with like a twirly mustache. Oh my god, seeing him come back and now he's just massive. Like that's when I know like, oh, we're gonna have a good time with this one. And one thing I will add as well is that like when it comes to the comedy, like yeah, of course it is geared towards kids, and like for someone like me, like a 30-year-old dude, like of course not all the jokes are going to land easily, but I will give it that there are some jokes that I actually did like and they did make me laugh. Like one example is actually when the puppies discover their powers, and then like we got the Dalmatian who realizes he can go and shoot out fire like he got a fire flower or something.
Look at your paws.
Great. Now the clumsy pup shoots fireballs out of his paws.
That I will admit is actually pretty funny. Or there's even one moment where like just now I noticed it, but then like we also got like the quick scene with the talking cat, which I realized, oh, wait a minute, that's Chris Rock.
Oh my goodness, I can talk! I have so much to say!
Give me that.
Like, I'll admit, that's actually not bad. And I hope that in the movie we do get to hear a lot more of Chris Rock. Which, speaking of which, just like last time, this PAW Patrol movie does promise to have a whole bunch of celebrities doing the voices. Like we got a whole list of them. Of course, Kim Kardashian is going to be coming back like she did last time. And I did hear apparently a couple of her kids, including Northwest, will be appearing in the feature film as well. But on top of that, we also got plenty of other voices who have experience in animated features before. Like we got Kristen Bell, we got Chris Rock, of course, we got James Marsden, we got Taraji P. Henson. So we got all these voices that are going to be provided. And of course, like we also got like many others as well. Like we got Little Ray Howery, we got Serena Williams, we got McKenna Grace, we got several others who will be featured in this entire movie. And of course, like another thing worth mentioning is regarding the animation, where I gotta say the animation here actually does look very solid. And that's one thing I definitely applaud the first movie, is how it really upgraded its animation compared to what they would usually present in the in the animated series, where you got the familiar aspect, like the familiar designs from the first film, except like now you could tell that the rendering, the textures, the environment, all of which, and even the effects, all of which got a significant upgrade. So overall, honestly, I kind of feel the same way as I did with the first movie, where this trip, honestly, I'm personally, well, I'm not going to say like freaking excited for it, but honestly, I'm pretty optimistic about this one. I don't think this is going to be amongst like one of the best animated features of the year, but at best, I'm thinking this is going to be something in the levels of the Super Mario movie, where I'm not here to watch a good movie, I'm here to have fun. And it is noticeable that there are some strengths in which the people who have worked on this film, they actually did do a good job. So overall, I think honestly, I feel like even for someone like me with no children at 30 years old, I think I'm gonna go watch this and I'm gonna have a good time, actually. So for any of you who are curious to go and check out PAW Patrol the Mighty Movie, then keep in mind that it will be coming out exclusively to theaters on September 29th. And with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you all, how do you feel about PAW Patrol the Mighty Movie? Or at least in terms of the trailer that we have witnessed. Are you guys hyped up to go and check this movie out? Are you a little bit hesitant to see it? Let me know what you all think on this. Oh, let's see now. I am way too old for PAW Patrol. I don't have kids, and I don't review animated films on the internet. So this doesn't really interest me. Though I have to admire just how extra this movie looks like it's going to be, and I hope that the kids will like it. Also, it's great to see the classic Nickelodeon logo once more in glorious orange, like in the good Lord, just like the good Lord intended. But speaking of cartoon dogs, Disney needs to get started on a Bluey movie. That is almost a guarantee to hit $2 billion at the box office. Well, I mean, like, I don't think it's going to be Disney themselves who would go and do it. I mean, it depends on the people who actually make Bluey. I mean, yeah, I think, like, a Bluey movie would be inevitable. Although, I don't know if it's going to be, like, a $1 billion hit. I mean, I could be wrong, but we will see on that. Let's see what else. Personally, while I'm not a PAW Patrol fan, because I am a grown man, I do think the first film was better than it had any right to be. This sequel could be fun. The action looks fun and the animation is really well done. So overall, this could be a fun time. Also, I don't know about anyone. I got nostalgia seeing the original Nickelodeon logo at the beginning of the trailer. Yeah, I guess Nickelodeon did get a rebrand and like they went back to the classic logo, I suppose. Like over here, yeah, like I can see a lot, like this seems to be everyone's favorite part here. It's not necessarily whatever they showed in the trailer, it's just looking at the logo. I honestly, it would not surprise me if there would be a handful of people who would want to go and watch PAW Patrol the Mighty Movie just so they can go and see this logo in particular. I mean, I know like some people will say that, well, technically there is going to be the TMNT Mutant Mayhem movie that will also have it, but they're going to have their own stylized thing. I mean, like just the classic version right over here. All right, let's see what other comments we got. Yeah, kids had their fun with Across the Spider-Verse. Now it's the real men's turn. All jokes aside, this does look pretty cute. The jokes don't really land, but the animation is really nice. The Taraji P. Henson character is an intriguing villain who's also a little hot, and the Chris Rock cameo caught me off guard, even if this does look like another DC League of Super Pets case. And I gotta say, to paraphrase Chris Rock, Paw Patrol 2! Can't wait to see it! You know, honestly, okay, this is gonna be a very hot take, but honestly, I feel like with what they are showing here, I think this could turn out to be better than DC League of Super Pets. In fact, I would even go as far and say that I personally prefer the first Paw Patrol movie than DC League of Super Pets. And also with Taraji P. Also, that is kind of a surprising comment that that the Taraji P. Henson villain is hot. Like, that's one thing I didn't expect people would do. Simp for the mighty movie villain. Oh boy, honestly, that would be one of the biggest plot twists of the year. That people are gonna go simping for the villain of Paw Patrol, the mighty movie. Oh boy, may God have mercy on our souls if that actually does happen. But anyways, well, this seems cute. It is for toddlers and preschoolers, but some jokes are kind of funny and cute. I'm sure many family, friends, kids will enjoy it if they are a fan of Paw Patrol, so yeah. Cute and good for little beans, and parents will be happy for their kids smiling. Can't wait for MatPat to theorize on it again. Honestly, it's been way too long since I've seen any game theory or any MatPat video, so I don't know what the context is of like what his theory on Paw Patrol the movie is, but I don't know. Is this something that I even want to know? Oh, let's see, what other comments do we have? I know we have our fun. Oh, wow, we got another one making the same joke. I know we have our fun watching Across the Spider-Verse, but now it's real men's turn with Paw Patrol. I'm too old for this movie, but I mean, it has everything that Spider-Verse doesn't have, like the animation, dogs, action, the crappy trailer voiceover, selling cool-ass toys, and the most important aspect, the voice acting. We have Chris Rock as a cat, James Marsden, Serena Williams, Kim Kardashian and her kids, Spider Sweep? More like real cinema coming in September. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go and read one more comment before we go and take our first break. Let's see here. I know I'm not the intended audience for this, so it doesn't feel right for me to really critique this. But besides the nice animation and a few good jokes, there isn't much in this that really catches my attention, so this is a pass for me. Though I can't wait to see this become a big success, and we will later get the sequel, Paw Patrol Across the Puppyverse. Well, then again, considering this is the second movie, wouldn't the third one be Paw Patrol Beyond the Puppyverse? I'm just saying. Alright, so with that said, once again, I just want to say, if you are curious to go and check out Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie, then remember that the feature will be released in theaters on September 29th. And with that said, we are going to go on to our first break, and when we do come back, we will have a bit of a bonus miscellaneous, but we will be talking about the platform that I am streaming right now, because, oh boy, did they had one of their worst weeks yet. And we are back. Now, when it comes to our next story, let us go and talk about the platform that I am streaming as I am recording this as well, which is Twitch. Because, oh boy, I think out of everyone in this entire world, Twitch had the second worst week, or Twitch is in second place of having the worst week ever. First place, of course, belonging to Donald Trump after the second indictment that he has received for crimes that he has committed, which are so bad that even his lawyers looked at what he has done and was like, okay, yeah, you're on your own. I'm out of this. Bye. But yes, specifically though, what we are going to be discussing about is Twitch, because, oh boy, they had a moment that almost, and I legit would say almost completely ruined the entire company, and we would have seen the complete downfall of a major platform. Now, maybe some could argue that they have avoided it, but, I don't know. Let's go and discuss about that. And let's begin by discussing about the almost Twitch boycott. Now, specifically what happened was that last week, Twitch announced some brand new guidelines in terms of how streamers would go and sponsor their programs, or how they would go and present sponsorships onto the platform, to which Twitch was very restrictive in terms of what they would do. In fact, let me go and read you just a quick thing of what's been mentioned about what they have done, like a very quick summary here on my source on Forbes, as it states. The guidelines, which became effective which they said was effective July 1st, said the platform would restrict logos on streams for taking up more than 3% of the screen size and prohibit video, audio, and display ads from being put directly into streams, reducing the avenues available to streamers for advertising products and services. So they really went hard in terms of not necessarily what they can go and promote, but rather really went hard on how they would go and promote it, really restricting it to only a few options. And in that regard, a lot of prominent streamers on the platform were massively upset, and there were a lot of them that actually demanded a boycott. Like, the backlash was so severe, like some people were legit saying that Twitter was pretty much dead, that we are seeing the massive downfall of the platform, and that if they would keep on going with this, then the entirety of Twitch would just really die out in only a matter of months. So yeah, from there, it really was like a very problematic and a serious emergency call for Twitch to do something, because a lot of streamers were considering to go and move away from Twitch and try to experiment in other platforms so that they can go and make their revenue there, on top of having the freedom to go and present their sponsors however they would wish. However they would wish, rather it be through audio or video or displays or whatever. So from there, literally 24 hours later, Twitch decided to say, okay, yeah, we screwed up. We're going to go and scrap those plans. In which Twitch actually announced on Twitter that they admitted that they messed up and they're going to go and back away from those guidelines that they have implemented. In fact, it was actually on this post right over here. So I'll read you directly from Twitch's post on Twitter, as it states, "Yesterday, we released branded content guidelines that impacted your ability to work with sponsors to increase your income from streaming. These guidelines are bad for you and bad for Twitch, and we are removing them immediately. Sponsorships are critical to streamers' growth and the ability to earn income. We will not prevent your ability to enter into direct relationships with sponsors. You will continue to own and control your sponsorship business. We want to work with our community to create the best experience on Twitch, and to do that, we need to be clear about what we are doing and why we're doing it. We appreciate your feedback and help in making this change." So yeah, they pretty much back away from the whole situation, but some people have even noticed that that may not 100% be the case. They didn't fully back away from like all the things that they said they would do starting July 1st. In fact, while they backed away from some of that, they also implemented some new guidelines that beforehand they didn't necessarily announce it, but now it's pretty much widespread knowledge and people were still pretty upset about it, including a brand new guideline that would ban simulcasting. That if you are a part of an affiliate, if you are either an affiliate or a partner of Twitch, then you are not allowed to go and simulcast your streams, meaning that you're not allowed to simultaneously present your stream on Twitch and then also on YouTube or on Facebook or on whatever other streaming services there would be. If you're gonna stream on Twitch, then you must only stream on Twitch. And there have been a few others as well, but yeah, like ultimately the biggest outcome that came from all this is that now the relationship between streamers and with Twitch, it's becoming a bit worse and worse. Like right now, their relationship, I would pretty much say that they're pretty much like a couple at the brink of a divorce. I think that's the best way to put it. Now, you might be wondering, though, why is it that people got so upset of those new guidelines? Why is it that people hate them so badly to the point that they would consider moving away from Twitch and doing their businesses elsewhere? Well, the thing is that if you guys don't know about the business of Twitch or the business of streaming in general, the reason why people are able to go and make a living off of like going on streaming and being on platforms on Twitch and stuff like that is actually because of sponsors. You would be surprised that most of the revenue that streamers would get, it's not from Twitch. It's actually coming from sponsorships that they would do from time to time, that they would go and present whatever product that they want to show off or that they're paid to go and present, and then they would get back doing whatever they would do, whether it be just having a chat or playing games or doing whatever show that they would want to go and only for streamers, but also for major events as well. The reason why like big gaming events or whatever events that they would show on streaming, like the reason why they would even do so in the first place is because of sponsorships, where sponsors would go and they would really help out build the events in the first place. And in exchange, they would say, okay, we'll help you out on this, but you got to go and present these ads specifically during your stream. So they would rely on things such as video ads or display ads or whatever during their entire content, or even have the brand be prominently presented throughout the stream. So like the point that I am making here is that like sponsorships is where the real money is in terms of streaming, because we all know that making money on Twitch really ain't that feasible, because the amount of money that you would go and make, it's really not as much as you may think. Even for someone like me, like, yeah, like the amount of views that I would get, like it's okay, honestly, but trust me, it is nothing compared to the other things that I would go and do, whether it be getting sponsors for my YouTube videos on YouTube itself or Patreon or whatever. So with what Twitch was doing, like the fact that they would go and take a lot of those opportunities away, like there are some people who literally cannot do what they would do because, well, they wouldn't have the money to stream. Like they would be forced to do what Twitch would want to do in terms of making money. So that's why they were calling out for boycotting, because, well, it would be financially impossible for them to go and stream on Twitch, because Twitch would go and completely restrict what they would do in terms of how they would go and make their money. And that's the big thing. Why is it Twitch would want to go and do that in the first place? Is because despite the fact that Twitch is is an affiliate of Amazon, who literally owns like trillions of dollars, they are greedy as F. And the thing with Twitch is that they are desperate to make as much money as they can from streamers. And with the move that they pulled off from here, they've made it very clear that what they want is that whatever money that streamers would make on Twitch, they want a piece of that as well, including the sponsorships. And that is why there was that controversy several months ago in which Twitch announced that for their partner program, that they would leave the they would remove the whole plan of the 70-30 share, where 70% goes to the creators, and just go with 50-50, where they would take away a lot of the revenue from streamers that they would make on Twitch, and the only response that they would give them is just, well, put in more of our ads, just implement them more often, force them out more. And that's what Twitch, really wants, is that they want them to go and play more ads. And on top of that, they want them to go, like, if they would want a sponsorship, they want to do it in a way where Twitch would also get a cut of it, to follow Twitch's rules so that they can also make money. And that's what makes people so upset about it. And even like the fact that they would back away from it, it doesn't necessarily make things any better. I mean, yeah, it is definitely an improvement compared to what the guidelines were before, but that doesn't mean that people trust Twitch now. That doesn't mean that people love Twitch, that, oh, they listen to the fans, they listen to the people. No, that's not really the case. Like, even after this, there are still a lot of prominent streamers that are thinking of bailing out of Twitch because they know that this is not going to be the last time that they're going to hear Twitch doing this kind of shenanigans. And even in terms of the simulcasting ban, like, they've already lost a few significant people. In fact, maybe you have heard about one of the most famous streamers in the world, Ninja. Ninja actually announced that he is no longer going to be streaming on Twitch anymore because of the simulcasting ban. Because a big part of his success is because of the multi-streaming that he would do in not just Twitch, but also like on YouTube or on Facebook or on whatever social media post or on whatever website in which he can go and actually stream. So in that regard, because he can no longer do it on Twitch, what financially makes more sense for him is to go and ditch Twitch altogether and just keep everything else, because it's either he would have to sacrifice all his other platforms and just stick to Twitch, or he would just remove one platform and keep all his other platforms. You know the old saying goes, to sacrifice the few to save the many. And that's honestly the big thing that honestly feels very, it honestly feels very concerning in terms of what they are doing with Twitch right now. And that's why I just want to go and state that after going through this whole controversy and seeing what Twitch had done, and even after they try to go and fix things up, honestly, I've been considering a backup plan. I have been considering a backup plan in which I would have to leave Twitch altogether and I would have to go and stream somewhere else. Like, if I'm going to do stuff like, if I'm going to do stuff like AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast or bringing back AniMat Plays or do whatever other stream there would be, I don't think I can do it on Twitch anymore. I legit feel like my time on Twitch has become pretty limited, not because of like what I've done or anything like that. I just feel like, looking into the business side of it, like, staying on Twitch doesn't really feel that financially feasible anymore. Like, I don't see myself really growing on Twitch as a platform, and that if I really want to see some legitimate growth, or if I want to see some legitimate business to go and like properly sustain for stuff like my podcast or whatever other streams I would do, then I would have to move out of it. Honestly, I've been thinking maybe one day, if like I really had enough of Twitch, then I'll probably move to the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cats YouTube channel and I'll go stream there. Maybe I'll have to go and change a few things. Like, I may no longer go and present trailers because of all the, with all the copyright stuff. I don't want to go and get hit by that. So from there, the best thing that I can really do is that maybe I'll just go and move it to Twitch. I mean, like, I'm not doing this immediately, but I am considering it though. Like, if if things are continuing to become this bad on Twitch, then I feel like one day it could happen. Again, I just personally feel like my time on Twitch is limited because it's not really a good idea to just stick on this platform in particular to go and do streams and stuff like that, especially when right now the relationship between creators and with the platform has gotten pretty bad, to the point where like an actual boycott may feel pretty inevitable. And if Twitch would continue making these changes in terms of their guidelines, and if they're trying to do more tactics in which they're trying to take money away from creators, then at that point, honestly, I feel like, yeah, I can't stay here any longer. And I think it could be for the best that I would just move out of Twitch, and that I would just go and like stick to another platform that is more respectable to their creators, and that you would have more creative freedom, such as YouTube or whatever, which is honestly very ironic to go and say about a platform like YouTube. But yeah, honestly, what Twitch went through is just a massive mess, and there are some aspects of it that's just broken in terms of their PR that really cannot be repaired. And I feel like if they're like, I think they're just one controversy away from just really destroying everything, and that people are just, you know, people are going to be a lot more serious in terms of abandoning it altogether, including myself. I don't know. Like, I just feel like, you know, hearing all these controversies, hearing all these changes that Twitch is doing, I just don't really feel like I don't feel like the platform is doing well for their creators, especially for smaller ones like me. And there was even one guideline, I don't know if they still kept it or not, but they even said that if you don't post regularly, or if you don't have enough views that Twitch is satisfied with, they could take away your affiliation. They could take away your monetization just because you're not popular enough. And in that regard, honestly, that really does worry me. Like, and they're very broad about it. Like, they don't say if how many times you should go and stream regularly. They don't actually say how many views you should have on a regular basis for them to be happy. But at that point, I just feel like it's just very concerning for me. I just feel a bit worried that, honestly, like, if that, I don't know if that guideline is like fully implemented, if that's one of them that they actually kept. But if that really is the case, I honestly feel scared, because imagine if there's one week that I need to go and take a break from, that I wouldn't actually stream the podcast for, and then Twitch would suddenly get upset and say, okay, that's it. Nope, no more affiliation for you. Okay, get it. Like, you can still stream, but no, you won't make money from us because we're not happy with the amount that you're making. It's honestly ridiculous. So I honestly don't know. What to do in this case. But yeah, like, honestly, at this point, the only action that I can take from hearing all this news is to just go and consider a plan B. Think about where else to go and stream, and when the time comes that I gotta quit Twitch, then I gotta go and take action to go and make the proper changes so that I can go and stream there. Because, you know, when it comes to the podcast, I want to do the best that I can in order to keep the interactability. You know, that's part of the magic of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, and like, especially part of the magic of streaming, is to have that interaction and to chat with you guys, to go and actually have a talk, read your comments, to go and respond in real time with this entire situation. So I want to do the best that I can, that I don't have that, you know, that I don't have that gone. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the future? And for now, I'll stay and see what's going on, and hopefully it'll help things out to go and grow my platform on Twitch. But for now, it's just, yeah, it's so far it's just not been looking good for Twitch. All right, so with that said, now I want to go and pass it on to the chat wall over here, and I would like to ask you all, how do you feel about this entire controversy related to Twitch? How do you feel about the whole situation that they're going through? And I want to know, especially from you, do you think I should move AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast and my stream and all my streaming stuff to another platform? Let me know what you think on that. Let's see. Another bad week for Twitch again, right? I guess that explains why Twitch is messing with your podcast during your honest opinion segment about them as a way to stop you, right? Oh crap, did they? Oh my god, honestly, like, that was one thing I was worried about. Like, I'm wondering if this would be like a moment in which Twitch is just gonna stop the stream during the entire thing. It's like, oh no, technical difficulties. Wait a minute, this isn't your average technical difficulty. But anyways, for real though, what Twitch is doing is dumb, and I don't think they'll change one bit after suffering another controversy and its treatment towards creators like you, so I do wish you well. Thank you very much, KS. And let's see. I'm not gonna lie. While I'm pretty stunned by these guidelines and the greediness of Twitch, I was more fascinated by the stream glitches. I mean, I'm pretty sure it froze at one point, as if Twitch is watching the streaming and it's like, what? No, dude, no, you don't. It's actually pretty funny, but you don't need to substitute for, but you do need a substitute for Twitch. I personally recommend Kick. Okay, I mean, like, I was only thinking about YouTube because, like, I honestly don't really know much of the other streaming platforms. Like, I think there's also Nebula, but if Kick is a good option, then I will think about that for sure. Let's see now. What other comments do we have? And yet this site is still in better state than other websites owned by a destructive, myopic idiot with too much money that refuses to use his fortune for good with twit in the name. Also, I find it humorous that this stream started falling apart while you were talking about the thing. Twitch is doing wrong. I kind of wish Mixer was able to get mainstream success so Twitch could learn to do better through competition. Yeah, I mean, like, this is the biggest problem with the current state of capitalism. Like, excuse me while I go into my Hobie mode. The problem is the current state of capitalism right now, and what we need is a bunch of competition. No, but for real though, with these monopolies, like, it's very dangerous of the fact that they own the grand majority of the entire competition, and they're the only ones that are, like, very well known of what they do, which means that the more powerful they are, the less consequence that they face whenever they would really screw up. But yeah, it is true that Twitch really needs some competition in terms of streaming. Like, maybe I'll go to YouTube, maybe I'll go to Kick, maybe I'll go to Mixer, but we'll see if things do get worse with Twitch in the first place. Let's see now. Well, whenever you decide to go, Matt, I'll follow. I'm a socially distant fangirl way. It makes me miss things like Blip when there was a tad more creative freedom. Honestly, I feel social media platforms are making dumber and dumber decisions that only piss people off rather than actually help. Like, what are they going to do? What they are doing is literal gatekeeping by saying, only use Twitch, your sponsors are mine, money mine. Yeah, and that was the biggest problem with what Twitch was doing. They were they're trying, like, not just they were, but they're trying to gatekeep how streamers make money, because because despite the fact of their association with Amazon, they are desperate to have every single cut that they can on whatever money streamers would go and make. Let's see, what else do we have here? Twitch really, let's see. Twitch really seems to have forgotten that if you want your content creators to stay on your platform, you have to treat them well. I have seen so many Twitch streamers actually their viewers that they much prefer direct donations instead of bits and subs because of how big of a cult Twitch is taking from them. Right now, it seems that a lot of people are kicking off to Kick because creators get a much bigger cut there. Regardless, I can understand completely if you want to move your podcast. You know, honestly, a lot of people are saying Kick, and in that regard, I was originally I was thinking I would go to YouTube, but if Kick is the way to go, if people are going to Kick to go and stream, I might consider that actually. That might be the option. I'll go, I think after this, I'm going to go and do some research on Kick, but honestly, the more you guys suggest Kick, the more that I feel like, that might be a good idea. All right, I think I'm going to read 2 more comments, and then I'll go and move on to the next break. Well, to be honest, I am honestly done with the internet in general because I will keep going. I'll keep going for your broadcast. So if you go, I will go with you because really, I think the internet has become awful ever since. Yeah, that's kind of the sad reality. I mean, like, I in a way, I am kind of an idiot to go and create a job in a place where it is highly toxic, like social media, such as YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. Let's see. Honestly, this is stupid. I saw one streamer I've been following made the jump to YouTube streamings. As for you, I'm with you and see what happens next if the platform itself stops glitching. Well, don't you worry, because now we're going to go on to another break. And for the next one, I think Twitch will leave me alone because Then we're going to talk about something about a movie that we all do enjoy. Now, this may contain spoilers of Across the Spider-Verse, but if you have seen it, then there's one little moment we will talk about that I'm sure you'll appreciate so much more, so stay tuned. And we are back. Now, I just want to go and start off again with a warning that the following story that I will be talking about will contain some minor spoilers of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, this isn't anything major. I'm not going to reveal like what the ending is or whatever, but this is a spoiler and this is a surprise that they kept in the feature film. So I highly recommend that if you have yet to see it, then I recommend skipping this story so that you could go on to the next story. But if you have seen it though, and that you would know what I'm talking about, then stick around because we actually have a very interesting tale right over here. Now, what I'm going to be talking about specifically is one particular moment that you may recall after the Spot, the villain of the feature, literally tripped on his own feet and he fell into one of his spots. At that point, you see the Spot suddenly, he's kind of in this weird dimension that is surrounded by all other spots where he pretty much has access to all the other universes where he could go into. Like, he'll stick his head out and he'll see that he's in some 2D comic book dimension. He'll stick his head out again and he'll see that he's suddenly in the dimension where the Venom movies are set in. But then there was one other dimension in which he sticks his head out and he sees that he's in an entire Lego dimension, or he's in an entire Lego universe. And it is very reminiscent to what Phil Lord and Chris Miller and the team at Animal Logic did when they produced the Lego movie, movies. And at that point, like, it wasn't like a major moment. It was just like one quick scene, or I would even say one quick gag, where we do see the Peter Parker in there, where they mention that there is a Lego Spider-Man in this universe. Now, one thing that is actually very surprising is that, believe it or not, it wasn't a team that actually made that entire scene. It was actually one animator. And it's not actually a professional animator. It's not like some Sony veteran who worked on that scene. It is literally a 14-year-old kid. Yes, folks, meet Preston Mutanga, the 14-year-old teenager who actually created that entire scene in Across the Spider-Verse by himself. So, how did this happen? How is it that this kid ended up getting the opportunity of a lifetime to go and actually create that particular scene for what is currently the biggest movie that is happening in cinemas right now? Well, the thing is with Preston is that he has always been a creative person, and he also had very supportive parents. He is actually the son of two immigrants. He was born in Minnesota, but now currently lives in Toronto, Canada. And his parents have been very supportive of his creative talents to go and pursue, to pursue his passion, to go and express his creativity, and to go and work in animation. And one major pivotal point in his life is when his father introduced him to a free software that anyone could go download called Blender, in which you can go and create 3D animation from there, or you could create whatever 3D designs that you could go and make. So from there, Preston would keep on using Blender and try to learn about how it works, how they would go and use the software. And he ended up becoming pretty good at it, to the point where he was able to go and recreate the animation style of the Lego movie. And right at the beginning of the year, in January of 2023, he released one video that I think it's safe to say changed his life forever, which is a complete recreation of the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse trailer but in the style of Lego. So I'm not going to go and play the entire thing, but I'm going to show you a little piece of it.
Making sure he is loved, that he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be. He wants to go out into the world and do great big things.
Not bad, kid.
And what I worry about most.
I love you, Miles.
All right, so I'll just stop it here. Again, I'm not going to show literally everything. I'm not going to show like everything in here, but as you could tell, like, my God, the fact that this is coming from a 14-year-old, like, really nailing that Lego movie style, it was massively impressive. So, as you can imagine, this immediately got the attention of the directors of the Lego movie, who also happened to be the writers and producers of Across the Spider-Verse, Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And when the entire team decided that one of the universes they want to go and do is a Lego universe, you know, kind of like a little throwback to the Lego movie, that's when they decided, hey, you know what? Let's go and bring in this kid to do that little scene. You know, like, it's, you know, it's not like a particular major scene to go and actually produce. And like, if they would go and get their team at Sony ImageWorks to go and create it, like, they could do that, no problem. But they feel like there would be some extra magic, like that great personal touch, if they would go and bring in this kid. So that's why they went and hired Preston, which, by the way, at first, the parents were very hesitant on that, because it really, like, when you do think about it, it sounded like a situation that's just way too good to be true. Imagine, like, you would get some freaking producer coming in and say, hey, I'm from Sony Pictures Animation. Hey, nice to meet you, 14-year-old boy. Would you like to go and animate a scene for our highly anticipated Spider-Verse sequel? How insane would that sound? Imagine if you would get that kind of email. Like, you would be hesitant. You would be very unsure if this would be real in the first place. So in that regard, the parents did end up doing their research, trying to make sure if everything was legit. And from there, that's when they discovered, yes, that was indeed real. So the dad, in response, decided to really go and step up his son's game and actually bought him and built him like a full-on supercomputer that would allow him to go and actually create some like amazing animations, like to really upgrade his craft. And from there, for several weeks, I guess you could say, Preston pretty much became like Miles Morales, where by day, he would still go to high school, he would still do his homework, but then after all that during the night, he would go and make progress on that particular scene, to go and make all the updates needed, to go and craft everything to make sure it all looks good, that it all looks presentable for that major motion picture. And he would keep on going back and forth with Chris Miller to see if there are any updates that he would have to do, any changes, to make sure that the little scene itself is as perfect as it can be. In fact, I actually do have one quote going into my source here on the New York Times, in which he stated that the biggest thing that he had learned from going into all this is in terms of collaboration. So it states here that for the young storyteller, accustomed to working alone with complete creative freedom, collaborating a part of a larger production proved eye-opening. One new thing I learned was definitely the feedback aspect of it. I like how much stuff actually gets changed from beginning to the final product. So from there, like, they would keep on talking, they would keep making changes, but for several weeks, Preston was living the dream of actually becoming a legitimate animator for this anticipated sequel. And I think it's safe to say that at the end, it really did pay off. Because I remember during that scene, I do recall, like, when that scene actually did show up in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, you know, I was thinking, like, you know, it's a funny and cute throwback to what Lord and Miller actually did. It's like, you know, it's kind of funny to see that Lord and Miller never let go of that Lego movie side, despite the fact that the second movie, like the reception of it, at least financially, was so bad that it caused Lego to like step away from Warner Brothers and move on to Universal. But still, though, like that little tribute, like it definitely was cute. But I did notice, however, that like it wasn't 100% exactly like the Lego movie. Like I could tell that in terms of the style that, you know, like it's very recognizable as the Lego movie, and it was a very solid attempt of it. Like there is something about it. I won't say it's bad, but it definitely felt a little bit different. I would say that it was, give or take, 90% exactly like the Lego movie's animation. But what I did not know was the fact that it was coming from a 14-year-old kid just working by himself, just doing that kind of animation on Blender and just doing that for the movie. That is honestly incredible. And in that regard, like even when I was watching, Across the Spider-Verse, I was on, you know, I kind of felt the same way where I was debating to myself, like when I was watching it, I was thinking like, is this actually stop motion? Like, did they actually use real Legos for this? Or is it all just CG? Are they just doing mock stop motion? You know, I was kind of like, you know, it was the first time that I felt that in years where I looked at it and I was debating. It's like, is that actually real? Are those actual Legos? Or is it just like, is it just really well-crafted animation that they did? Or well-crafted CG animation? I don't know. So that was the big thing that honestly I was debating to myself, but then I saw like it was done by a 14-year-old kid and I was like, wait, excuse me? He's the one who did this? Like not even a man. This boy crafted some very impressive animation that can legitimately be compared to the Lego movie? That I gotta say is honestly crazy and honestly highly admirable. And it's funny how in this article, it actually does mention that Preston dreams of becoming like a full-time animator and to become like a director and stuff like that. And I think it is safe to say that, man, Preston got like a massive step up. Like, and especially like if you do look at many of the other works that he has done, like, you know what, let's go on his YouTube channel. Like, and if you're curious to go and want to follow him, his YouTube channel is called Lego Me the _ the OG. And in there, you'll actually see a lot of animations that he has done, like to, you know, a lot of like legit recreations, like, and they're very short too. They're only like a few seconds long. Like, you know, like there are, of course, there are some scenes that he did go and recreate, like, you know, there's there's the therapy scene that he recreated. There's also the one that is based on the meme where we see Miles Morales as Spider-Man just talking with his dad on the roof, and you know, just having like technically having a father-son bonding moment, and just you know, and I was so close to saying Jeff, but knowing Jeff, he would not like that. But you know, Officer Morales, he was talking about what is he going to do with his son and having that bonding moment, and like he was so close to saying like, maybe you should get off the kid's ass. I mean, you know, that little moment. And there are some other stuff, like it's not just Spider-Verse that he did. He also has done some animations, like he did like Spooky Scary Skeletons. He did Stranger Things. He did the Super Mario movie. Like he has done, you know, he has done a whole bunch of them. So honestly, I highly recommend you check out his stuff, because like this right here could honestly be his animation portfolio. And like, honestly, like, yeah, he'll probably have to go to college in order to properly apply for an animation studio. But honestly, the stuff that he has already made, it feels like the dude is ready to just go and work at a studio. Like, yeah, maybe like, honestly, like it feels like the stuff that he has done, he's definitely ready. Now, of course, there may be a few other aspects, like maybe he'll have to wait when he's older and more mature so that like he can be mentally prepared to work in an animation studio. I mean, like, yeah, producing animation in itself is one thing, but working in an animation studio, like, that is an entire challenge altogether right there that is completely separate from working at home. And especially with the fact that he stated that working on Across the Spider-Verse was his first time working in terms of having collaboration and getting feedback and all that kind of stuff. So that would be something that he would have to go and get used to. So overall, like with all this, it's just highly impressive and highly admirable with what Preston has done. Now, it is also worth noting that there is a little bit of controversy that came with this announcement. And there have been some people who did accuse Sony and Across the Spider-Verse that they're kind of doing child labor because of the fact that they hired a literal 14-year-old to go and work on the animation. But then again, like, you could see in all this that, you know, there's no actual harm that went onto the child itself. There is like full consent from everyone to actually go and do this. Nothing was actually forced. And also, I'm sure that the kid was very well paid, especially like, I'm sure that the producers gave the proper compensation and the right compensation for Preston to go and produce that entire animation alone. Otherwise, there would be some serious trouble that Sony needs to do some explaining. But honestly, yeah, like, I think in that regard, like, it's not, I wouldn't necessarily say, in my opinion, that this is really child labor because, yeah, like, I mean, like, there was no actual harm that actually did occur to the kid. So yeah, honestly, in this entire case, this is honestly just highly admirable. This is, you know, this truly is an inspiring story. And honestly, this might sound weird, but I would even say in this case that Preston is the Miles Morales of animation, or at least the Miles Morales in terms of the production of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Someone who would go and try to, you know, try to balance his normal life working at home and then his spectacular life being an animator for a movie like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And I think it is Lord and Miller who actually said it best right at the end of this article here, where it states that Miller saw Mutanga's contribution to Across the Spider-Verse not only as a testament to the democratization of filmmaking, but also to the artist's perseverance. He dedicated intensive time and effort to animation, which is not ever fast or easy to make. And then Phil Lord said that the Lego movie is inspired by people making films with the Lego bricks at home. That's what made us want to make the movie. Then the idea in Spider-Verse is that a hero can come from anywhere. And here comes this heroic young person who's inspired by the movie that was inspired by people like him. So in a way, the inspiration really went full circle on this. So honestly, I just wanted to go and add this in because I myself just felt so fascinated and really wanted to learn more about this entire situation. And, you know, kind of give like a wholesome moment to this episode, like to really give a moment to go and like, you know, to give people a smile and to go and find an inspiring story to go and follow your dreams, because you never know what crazy opportunity may come next, such as what Preston has faced here. So yeah, definitely just a fun story I wanted to talk about. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall now, and I want to ask you, how did you all feel about that specific Lego scene in Across the Spider-Verse, and especially with the fact that it came from a 14-year-old kid? Let me know in the comments what you all think. Let's see. I'm happy for this little boy. He is a creative and talented kid with really great timing. If he continues to do that in Across the Spider-Verse, will be great. If he continues to do animation, then Across the Spider-Verse will be great thing on his resume. I also hope Preston got paid, if nothing else. I think he is now the most popular kid in school. Well, I mean, I don't know about the school aspect, maybe for a little bit, but keep in mind, summer vacation is coming, or for some schools, summer vacation is already here. So I'm sure he's a popular kid. At school, though, I don't know, because is he still in school, or like, is school over? That honestly depends. Let's see now. When I saw the Lego sequence in Across the Spider-Verse, I thought it was done by Animal Logic from the Lego movie or the people at Sony at first. But when I heard it was done by a 14-year-old teen, I was shocked to hear that it was done by a kid. Not every day that you get to hear that it was done by a kid like this, and I applaud him for getting an opportunity like this. Congrats to Preston, and hope he becomes a great animator in the future. He must be protected at all costs. Oh yeah, especially the fact, well, I mean, especially with the fact that it is a black kid, and we all know that anti-woke people, they are not fans of Spider-Verse. Like, we know their real opinions on that because of their racist ideologies. So yeah, I think you are correct when you say that this kid needs to be protected at all costs. Oh, let's see now. To paraphrase Hobie, man like Preston, my guy. The fact that Sony brought this kid onto the film is absolutely insane. The scene was among one of my favorite scenes with how out of left field it was. But all in all, the kid's got a bright future ahead of him. Though this does leave me thinking, if he's 14 and animating for a major blockbuster, how am I nearly 21 and still stuck in a bathtub? How did I even get here? Help! Well, I mean, do your legs work? Because it actually does help if you take one leg off and then you take the other leg off, and then suddenly you'll be free from your aquatic chasm from there. You don't have to keep living your life in a goldfish. Also, what technology are you using in order to use a waterproof laptop or whatever you're streaming with? Seriously, that alone with the technology is impressive. My legs have been consumed by the bathtub. Your legs are the bathtub. Let's see now. What else do we have here? Gosh, I wish I had that support when I was 14, but no one outside of my art teacher in high school believed in me. I didn't have the technology and affordability to do this kind of work this kid did. I'm glad he got the opportunity to do one scene for one of the most acclaimed films this year. I honestly do hope I'll make it to the industry as well. Wish me luck. Absolutely, I do wish you luck, dude. Let's see. I gotta say, I am honestly so happy that Preston got this opportunity to animate this scene Across the Spider-Verse. The fact that he got to animate a scene for a big animated film is a really major achievement, and because of this, I really hope that Preston will have a bright future and get to do more stuff like this. Let's see now. When I first saw this scene yesterday, I thought at first it was done as a nod for their work in the Lego movies, but as soon as I learned that a 14-year-old kid did it by himself, the jaw inside me practically dropped. Hopefully the medical bills to put that back up won't be too big. This kid had some insane potential, and seeing his work is one of the best animated features in recent years must look incredibly well for his portfolio. Also, you got to give hats off to his parents who both support his work and make sure that he didn't get ripped off. Oh yeah, I think that's also another thing, you know, though that's another group that we should applaud. You know, it's not just Preston that we should applaud, but also his parents. It's not every day that you would get parents who are this supportive, and that no matter how wild your dream is, that they would go and support you to go and actually pursue it. You know, like that, you know, that is a major key to go and actually make your dreams come true. Like support, you know, like having supportive parents can really change things up for your kid. And honestly, the happiest children out there are those with very supportive parents that no matter who they are, no matter what they do, they will stick by their side no matter what. So that's another major thing that could be a big key to success. You know, not to say that people without supportive parents are not successful. I'm not saying that at all, but like it is definitely a big boost to go and help things out. Let's see what else we have here. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the story of Kane Pixels, who was around 16 or 17 when he created the Backrooms. Definitely shows that people do gain talent at a young age. Oh yeah, and especially in this day and age, especially like that's probably one of the biggest benefits of social media. The fact that you could be discovered at any age and that you could be discovered anywhere. Like the fact, you know, like the fact that you got teenagers creating global phenomenons, you know, it could definitely be a very admirable story. All right, I think I'm going to read one more comment before we go and take our next break. Let's see, what do we got here? This is just amazing. Congratulations to Preston Mutanga. First, we got Brian Hall in Hotel Transylvania 4, and now this. This is just great for his career and for the industry as a whole. Look beyond the boundaries of Hollywood to find talent. They may be lurking in the shadows that you don't even know, and maybe this could happen to you, AniMat. You never know who will be you never know who I'll be rooting for you when it does. Hey. Yo, thank you so much, man. I mean, like, I would love to have some kind of like big life-changing opportunity, but I mean, who knows? But you know, I'm not gonna lie. I've often contemplated if like maybe being AniMat could be a detriment from like following my dreams and stuff like that, and that maybe people in the animation industry wouldn't want to hire me or, you know, bring me on board as a voice actor because of like some of the screw-ups that I've done in the past. But you know, I'm just doing what I can to go and improve myself as a person and to improve myself as a content creator. So, I mean, who knows what opportunities may come to me? And I mean, who knows? Like, maybe there will be one day that I can go and like have an opportunity to work at like, you know, to do voiceover work for like Disney or DreamWorks, or hell, maybe like the most insane plot twist of life that somehow you'll see me, you'll see me working for Sony Animation to do a voice for something. How insane would that be? All right, but in all seriousness, let's go and have our break. And when we do return, we will go and talk about a different animation studio in which they are having an entire reboot of it, and one that honestly happened not long after they already did do a reboot of themselves. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, we are back. And by the way, I noticed that in the chat wall, someone actually made a joke that apparently I'll be a voice in Hotel Transylvania, where now I'm going to be the brand new voice of Johnny for Hotel Transylvania 5. So in that regard, I need to do a proper audition, but keep in mind, folks, that I am a bit more of a method actor. So I really need to go and get into the proper mind state of being Johnny. So if you can excuse me. Yo, check it out! I'm a Franken homie! Okay, oh, there we go. That's much better. All right, but anyways, yes, we do have our next story to jump into, and what we are talking about is actually going to be regarding Warner Brothers. Now, for a while, we have known Warner Brothers' feature animation division as Warner Animation Group, and it seemed like they were starting out strong with the Lego Movie, but then over the years, well, like they had that one great moment, and like it looked like they had a very prominent franchise there. But then as they kept on making feature films, oh boy, it did not look good, especially when the pandemic happened. Yeah, like the movies they put out, stuff like Scoob, and then you got Tom and Jerry, and then Space Jam: A New Legacy. Yeah, it wasn't working out, man. It really was just not working out. So in that regard, I think another refresh might be in order. And so with that said, say goodbye to Warner Animation Group and say hello to Warner Brothers Pictures Animation, which I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, which is why I think I'm just going to go and continue forward to just say WB Pictures Animation. I think that's a little bit easier. But yes, just recently, they have revealed that now their feature film division is now going to be called Warner Brothers Pictures Animation, along with kickstarting the career, or at least the new chapter in the career of their brand new president, Bill Damashki. And for some, Bill Damashki might be a bit of a familiar name because this man was once one of the creative leaders of DreamWorks Animation. So through my source here on Deadline, I'm just going to go and give you a bit of a quick summary of who Bill Damashki is. So just to read you this little part. Damashki got his start at DreamWorks Animation, where he landed his first animation job as production assistant on The Prince of Egypt, ultimately rising through the ranks to lead the company as the chief creative officer. During his long tenure there, he steered a number of acclaimed and popular animated franchise films to the big screen, including the blockbusters Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, and The Cruise. Damashki also oversaw all of DreamWorks Animation's live theatrical productions, including the award-winning Shrek the Musical. He also served as the producer on Shark Tale, which was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature in 2004, and as an executive producer on Over the Hedge and Kung Fu Panda. So with this new leadership, and especially with a man who is definitely more than qualified to go and lead, or at least creatively lead an animation studio, you can imagine that this is definitely a big plus for Warner Brothers to get someone like Bill Damashki. However, you might be wondering at this point though, what are they going to do now? Now that they have gotten a complete brand new rebrand, what will the future hold for WB Pictures Animation? Well, we actually do have a few things to go and mention, and it's actually from this section of the article right over here, where it states that he's working with a core of 90 staff he's working with a core staff of 90 at Warner Brothers that includes production artists, filmmakers, and writers, with the remaining WAG production, The Cat in the Hat, with the in the works right now from Oscar-nominated and Emmy-winning filmmaker Erica Rivanoja, who previously worked as one of the writers of Borat's subsequent movie film, and Annie Award-nominated Alejandro Carloni, who is another DreamWorks veteran. The plan is to have that film be released and either give it a 2025 or 2026 theatrical release. Meanwhile, Animalogic, an animation partner in Vancouver, BC, will continue to team with Warner Brothers on animated projects, which honestly was surprising because I thought that they were fully bought out by Netflix, but then again, I could be wrong. Maybe it could be a relationship that is similar to Sony Pictures Imageworks, where like, yeah, they're mainly for that company, but they also do like other stuff for other studios as well. But anyways, also finishing up from WAG is the Dave Green directed Coyote vs. Acme, produced by Chris DeFaria and James Gunn. Damashki also tells us that a Flintstones origin story movie, Meet the Flintstones, is also early in development, written by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, who directed the Super Mario Bros. Movie. But wait, that is not all, because just recently there's another news in which it was revealed that Warner Brothers is going to be collaborating with another animation studio, which is Locksmith Animation. And it has actually been reported that WB Pictures Animation has made a first look deal with Locksmith Animation, in which two of the features that they are producing right now will be released under the WBPA banner. And the first of these, again, reading from my source here on Deadline, it says, the first of Locksmith's two properties being developed under the new deal is Bad Fairies, a subversive musical comedy set in contemporary London. It focuses on a badass gang of fairies who break every rule in the book. Deborah Francis White, creator of the host of podcast The Guilty Feminist, creator and host of the podcast The Guilty Feminist, is writing the screenplay. Megan Nicole Dong, creator and director of Netflix's animated musical series Centaur World, is attached to direct. And then there is the other movie that they're doing. The second project is The Lunar Chronicles, based on Marissa Mayer's best-selling novel. A sci-fi twist on Grimm's fairy tales, the feature project centers on 4 young women who launch a rebellion against the tyrannical Queen of the Moon and soar through the stars while fighting to take charge of their own destinies. Kaylin Egan and Travis Sentil, writers of the Amazon series Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams, are attached to write. Noel Raphael, director of DC Superhero Girls and story artist for the Lego Ninjago movie and Marvel Studios' upcoming The Marvels, is attached to helm. So that's pretty much the big thing that we are seeing here, is the fact that we are seeing once again this brand new rebrand of Warner Brothers Animation, or the Warner Brothers Feature Animation Division, which now is going to be called Warner Brothers Pictures Animation. And, you know, I gotta say that it is kind of interesting to see how Warner Brothers is trying to go and step up into the animation realm. Because, you know, when it comes to Warner Brothers and with animated movies, you would think that they would be a prominent competitor. Like, you would think with its long history of animation and its eclectic collection of properties, from the Looney Tunes to Hanna-Barbera to DC and many more, that they would be a massive competitor that would give Disney a run for their money. But in actuality, that is not the case, because for decades now, they have been struggling to try to keep up in the feature film division, or in the feature film industry, because so far with their animated movies, or like during their periods, it's always that they would have one major successful movie and they would have serious trouble to try to keep up that success. I mean, we have seen it back in the 90s where they think they got a major hit on their hands with Space Jam, but then following afterwards, the other movies that they would go and put out, like Quest for Camelot, really did not go well, and it just ended up tanking for them. So they would have to go and reboot again. And then they would try to do so with Happy Feet, and I mean, they did find some success, especially when that film ended up winning an Oscar for Best Animated Feature, but then, well, not much really came out of that. But then suddenly, they tried rebranding themselves as Warner Animation Group, and then they released the Lego Movie. And that became a massive phenomenon until people got sick and tired of Lego movies. And then following from there, the other movies that they would try to put out really did not gain interest for them, and people just did not care. And like I said before, when they would try to go and make movies like Scoob, or the Tom and Jerry 2021 movie, or Space Jam: A New Legacy, it just ended up flopping one after another. So I think it's safe to say that after going through all that, the brand of Warner Animation Group has pretty much been tarnished. Now, I'm not 100% sure if they're gonna fully let go of that brand immediately, because it looks like from this article they're saying that they do have a few more projects before they officially retire that brand. Like they are saying that Coyote versus Acme and the Cat in the Hat look like they are part of Warner Animation Group, and that maybe they are the last feature films under that banner. Maybe they'll keep it, or maybe they'll immediately switch it to Warner Brothers Pictures Animation, but I guess we will see. Who knows? But yeah, I can understand with what Warner Brothers is going through and why they would go and try to do that kind of rebrand. And especially with the fact that they got a brand new leader on board with Bill Damashki, who has done such incredible wonders at DreamWorks Animation. In fact, some people could say that he is a key player into shaping DreamWorks Animation into what we know today. Like, especially when they mention under his creative supervision, this is the man who has brought us films such as Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, and many more. Like, honestly, I can understand the enthusiasm that Warner Brothers has right now, like, they would feel like their game has pretty much been stepped up now that they got someone like Bill Damashki, and not to mention having deals with other studios to come and work for them. Like, they're still gonna have films give it to them, or not give it to them, but they will have collaborations from I lost my train of thought, but from Animal Logic, that they'll still be working with them. And on top of that, they got a brand new deal with Locksmith Animation, which I will say did actually show some promise with their first movie with Ron's Gone Wrong. So honestly, I do see that as a bit of a plus. So from there, I won't say immediately that the future of Warner Brothers Pictures Animation, oh, they're going to be back in the game. We're going to see a comeback of Warner Brothers in the world of animation. No. I don't think that at all. I mean, like, the future is going to be a mystery. Maybe this will work. Maybe this will not. This won't. But honestly, I could see the optimism. I could definitely say that right now. And in terms of the projects that they do have coming up, I will say they are definitely intriguing, not gonna lie. I mean, sure, we got some stuff that we already know about, such as the Cat in the Hat, and also Coyote versus Acme, which I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty excited to check out. But then you also got the announcement of Meet the Flintstones, which, honestly, may I ask, Warner Brothers, are you really foolish enough to think that you could go and step up from the masterpiece that you have done, which we all know about the real origins of the Flintstones, and which we know as the Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas? No, but for real, no. Honestly, I don't know 100% how to feel about that right now. I mean, I get it. Some people may say that there is some hype of the fact that they got the directors of the Super Mario movie to go and write the script for it. And with that writing, I wouldn't be surprised if they would also end up becoming the directors as well. But then again, I don't know. I mean, like, technically the story and the character development, they are not the strongest element in the Super Mario Brothers movie. So I don't know. For me, I'm just going to go and have a wait and see attitude. And not to mention the fact that it is Warner Brothers taking one of their classic properties and turning that into a feature film, which honestly, that in itself kind of turns me off a bit, because I'm not going to lie, based on the previous experience that I've had with Scoob, and especially with Tom and Jerry, I don't necessarily feel like I could trust Warner Brothers right now with taking a Hanna-Barbera property and turning that into a mainstream animated feature. I don't know, like, you'd have to really convince me that it's going to be really good and really worth it after going through that. I'm just saying. But I will say that if there is one project that I am really excited from the things that has been revealed here, you know, it may sound crazy, but I'm going to go with what Locksmith has and say that I'm honestly mostly curious about Bad Fairies. That sound like, you know, that honestly sounds like it could have some potential, especially with the fact that it is going to be directed by Megan Nicole Dong. Now, I will confess that I have yet to watch Centaur World, but I have heard a lot of great things about it. And I think, honestly, if you're going to get someone to go and create a brand new musical, I think Megan will definitely do a great job on it, considering that she has been said to do an impeccable job on Centaur World. So they definitely got good hands there. So yeah, overall though, it's honestly very intriguing to see Warner Brothers going through another major rebrand for their for their animated feature division again. But hopefully this could be one that shall pay off. I mean, we can't say immediately if this is going to be like, oh yeah, they definitely got it right this time. They're going to have a great comeback. I don't know if I'll go that far, but honestly, who knows? But I do wish the team at at WB Pictures Animation and to Bill Damashki the best of luck in their future, and we'll see how things will go now with what we will now have to call WB Pictures Animation. And so with that said, I would like to go and pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you feel about this new rebrand? Do you think this is going to be worth it? Do you think this is going to be what the WB needs in order to have a comeback in feature animation? Let me know what you all think on that. Let's see now. Warner Brothers Pictures Animation sounds better than Warner Animation Group, and more of a successor to Warner Brothers Feature Animation. Let's see if the studio rebrand will help succeed the projects and gain better reputation from previous underperformed films. Also, it's good to see Coyote vs. Acme is still coming in 2023, but who knows? I'm just going to say right now, I highly doubt it, considering that we haven't seen anything related to it or no major announcements. I mean, who knows? Maybe soon we will get one, but I doubt it's going to be coming out in 2023. I'm just saying. David Zaslav might do something with the film, but how many parts for animation look back are left? Oh, okay, so that's just a side note, by the way. I'm just going to say right now, I have done work on part 6, and that is going to be coming soon in July. In terms of how many parts left, I'm just going to say right now, not many. After part 6's release, we're only going to have a handful left. I'm not going to reveal just left, but I am going to say right now that we are at we are well into the second part of our big story in Animation Look Back: The Muppets. Let's see now. Out of all the movie studios that have fallen behind in the animation realm, it's Warner Brothers that they have really sucked in making animated films compared to Disney, Universal, Sony, and even Paramount is stepping up its game with its lineup like TMNT. So with WAG being rebranded to WBPA, it shows that they really wanted to be taken seriously so that they could be a part of the animation game, but struggling in how they produce it. But I do wish them luck for their third time. Or honestly, I don't even think it's their third time. It's like, what, their fourth, their fifth? I don't know. Oh, let's see. I'm all for this rebrand. Out of all the major studios, Warner Brothers is the one that have never found consistent success with releasing big budgeted animated films, so hopefully this will turn things around for them. I'm just hoping that they have a good balance of franchise films and original films, because Warner Brothers often has a bad habit of relying on past franchises like Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, etc. Yeah, definitely. What else? Warner Brothers made a lot of goods such as Space Jam, The Iron Giant, and the Lego Movie, and a lot of duds like Smallfoot and Scoob. And I'm quite hopeful that WBPA will be making some good movies after the flops they've struggled, especially the Cat in the Hat movie. I hope they do a better job on that than the horrifying Mike Myers movie, considering that hold on a sec. Considering that they did it so well with the Green Eggs and Ham show on Netflix. Oof, almost struggled with that one. That's just on me though. What other comments do we have? Let's see. Oh, okay. Some people are saying it is legit the third time. Okay, I gotcha. I think this rebrand is for the best. With how Warner Animation Group is struggling with their animated films, they honestly need a fresh start so they can create great animated films. As for the ones coming up, the Flintstones prequel could have potential, and hopefully the Cat in the Hat will deliver and end up better than the 2003 movie. All right, I think I'll read one more comment and then that's it. Let's see now. When it comes to Warner Brothers and animation, they've fallen once, they've fallen twice, now they shall fall again. Nah, jokes aside, I'm not sure if rebranding their animation unit is really a good idea for fixing their already broken image, though from what I am hearing about their upcoming projects, there might be a good chance that Warner Brothers can do a comeback with their animated films. Until it falls again. Well, I mean, honestly, we'll have to wait and see if that is the case, but we are going to go into one more break, and when we do come back, we will enter into our grand finale, and we will be talking about the project that has opened the Annecy Animation Film Festival, and let me tell you, I think we got something that is massively hyped up, or something to really get excited for. And so, everyone, it is now time that we will cap this episode off with the grand finale. And with this grand finale, we are going to be discussing about what is possibly the biggest event in the animation industry, which is the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. The big moment in which animation productions, big and small, all come together to not just celebrate animation, but to also show off some of the major productions that they have on their way, on top of smaller creators to go and have the opportunity to go and present their work and hopefully not only be hired, but also for whatever passion project they're working on, that they would go and be bought by some major production. And considering that as I am recording this, we are at the start of Annecy, one thing to note is that at the beginning, they did present a couple of shorts. Not at the same time, though, but during the start of it, there have been a few noteworthy moments. One of which is Sony presenting a new Spider-Verse short in which it shows Miles Morales and his life as Spider-Man, but that one in particular actually focuses primarily on mental health and anxiety. So really going into that element, you know, going into that realm and having those kinds of discussions right there. But then there was Disney, in which Disney decided to go and step in, and considering that they really want to go and make a big deal, considering that it's not just the company, but also Walt Disney Animation Studios' 100th anniversary, you know, they want to go and have a big celebration, and they want to have something to really go and show off. And that is exactly what we are going to be talking about. Their brand new animated short. So at Annecy, the big opener was actually what Disney was doing, and they have revealed that for their upcoming animated feature, Wish, they got a 9-minute animated short to go and present. But this isn't just any animated short. This is actually an animated short that would celebrate the 100 years of Disney, or specifically of Disney animation. And this one is actually going to be called Once Upon a Studio. And this is actually going to be brought to us by the directors of Once Upon a Snowman, Dan Abraham and Trent Corey. Now, for those of you who don't know what this project is, allow me to go and read you the description, because, oh boy, is it something. It states here, reading from my source on Variety, a passion project started on the fly in anticipation of the Mouse House's centenary? Yeah, the Mouse House's centenary this year. The 9-minute short brings more than 400 characters back to life, throwing hand-drawn, CG, and live-action characters into a Disney mix as they collectively buzz around the Roy E. Disney Animation Building on the Disney Studio lot, causing gentle comic mayhem and leaning towards a sentimental close set to the studio's most emblematic song. And even there's a heartfelt moment that animation fans can definitely recognize, where it actually starts out with animation veteran Bernie Mattinson, who sadly passed away recently just before his 70th anniversary of working with Disney. And like, he would start off by saying, "Oh boy, if these walls could talk," and then it would just go and start things off there. Now, in this animated short, they promise to be this massive passion project and to be this massive love letter to Disney animation, to the point that the best way to go and describe it is that, in a way, Disney is having their own version of that old Super Smash Bros. Meme. Do you remember the meme of, like, everybody is here? Well, that's exactly what they want to do. They are actually going to be bringing in, like, in that 90-minute short, apparently over 400 Disney characters. Rather they be hand-drawn, CG, or live action, they're going to be coming to life all in that one short. And to give you one example of how this is going to go, let me just read you a little bit of a passage where it states that after Bernie Madison would say his line, then we would go and see Mickey and Minnie springing loose from hanged photos, rousing Tiana from The Princess and the Frog, Peter Pan and Wendy too, Moana, Maui, and Merlin, alongside Elsa, Goofy, and Winnie the Pooh. Oh, and about 400. Oh, and about 400 more. With Zootopia fan favorite Flash Slothmore drawing the screen's 2 biggest laughs. And on top of the 2 directors that they have, they also got animation legend Eric Goldberg, who's going to be heading the hand-drawn aspect, while they also got Andrew Feliciano, who was a supervising animator of Raya and the Last Dragon, taking charge of CG. And on top of all the characters that are present, they've also mentioned that over 40 different voice actors are going to be coming back to go and reprise their roles. Or at least 40 actors who provided a voice of a classic Disney characters, they will be returning. And one significant moment that many people are really talking about right now is that there's going to be one scene in which Olaf from Frozen, voiced by Josh Gad, is going to be hanging out with the genie from Aladdin. And yes, he will be voiced by Robin Williams. They're actually going to be taking archive footage that was never used in Disney's Aladdin, and they will be using that to bring Genie back to life. And that's just apparently the tip of the iceberg with this animated short. And they presented it at Annecy, and so far, it's just been getting massive praise. Oh, and also one more thing to go and add is one thing to go and say, it's actually one quote coming from one of the directors, Dan Abraham, in which he states that the short is a love letter to the medium, to Disney animation, and really a thank you to anyone in the audience that's ever connected with a film over the last 100 years. And even a little bit of an extra add-on to the end, it says, future plans are as yet hazy for the centenary short, though one should safely assume some form of a wider broadcast or distribution before the anniversary is out. Well, I mean, many people are already saying that this is going to be the short that will show up before Wish. I could totally be wrong. Maybe that's not the case, but I mean, that's what most people are assuming, and that's the thing that would make sense. But anyways, in Annecy on Sunday night, those gathered in the amphitheater turned Haven could count themselves among the happy few to see the short firsthand. And in a city still reeling, this was a happy night indeed. So as you can imagine, that animated short has received great praise from people who had seen it. And honestly, as a lifelong Disney fan myself, I'm definitely excited to see what they are going to do with this. And I mean, it does make sense that Disney would go and try to do a major project such as this one that we are hearing right over here. And I mean, especially with the fact that this is the 100th anniversary of Disney animation and Disney as a whole, I think it is safe to assume that they couldn't just go and do, like, you know, a few little things. Like right now with the 100th anniversary, like they're not going to go and celebrate by doing just business as usual. It's not like a special treat that, like, oh look, we're having a live action remake of The Little Mermaid. We're having a reboot of The Haunted Mansion. We're getting a new original Pixar movie. No, it ain't like that. Like, they got to do something that will really pack a punch. And I don't think even just releasing Wish either would be that big of a deal. No, they got to do something really big and really do something like to honor all the beloved characters over the years. And I guess what they want to do is to create the ultimate crossover, the biggest crossover that Disney has ever seen ever since The House of Mouse. In a way, I guess you could say this is going to be like a really amplified version of what they've previously done with Ralph Breaks the Internet, with the Oh My Disney scene, so, like, in which they would show like a variety of Disney properties coming together. And of course, you got what has often been said to be the best scene from Ralph Breaks the Internet, the crossover with all the Disney princesses just hanging out. I'm honestly surprised that Disney has yet to even do even more of that, or like turn that into a series or something. But either way, though, you know, just the idea that they would go and make this ultimate crossover, like, honestly, I feel like this might be something that I need to go and emotionally prepare for myself, because seeing like this big anniversary with all the, you know, with all the Disney properties colliding together and stuff like that, Oh my God. Like, honestly, it was emotionally so much when I was at Walt Disney World, and especially seeing the fireworks show, especially like at the Magic Kingdom and stuff like that. Oh my God. I don't know if my heart could really take it to see like all the Disney characters coming together, and then they're going to play When You Wish Upon a Star at the end. Oh boy. I don't know if I'll be ready for that. Like, I'm just going to be in tears. And then suddenly it's like, oh right, we still got a whole freaking movie to watch. But yeah, I think it is safe to say that honestly, I'm personally very excited to see that, you know, to see that massive celebration and what's going to be like the true project that will honor the 100th anniversary of Disney. I mean, like, sure, like I know some people will say like with what they are doing with the nighttime shows at Disneyland, like those are amazing. And I wish I could go and see that for myself. But this project though, honestly, I think that could be like a true winner with what they could have. Like if they really are promising the big Disney crossover that's supposed to be like a massive love letter, I think this is going to be like one of the true highlights during the end of the year. However, I will say with this excitement, there's also a part of me that is a little bit worried, not necessarily with the project itself, but more with the reactions to the project. Because I'm just going to say right now, like, let's face it, folks, we are in a time where it is considered cool and trendy to really go hate on Disney. Like whatever the reason may be, hating on Disney is often considered to be a popular thing to do. And there are some people out there who've pretty much made their entire personality just on hating Disney and hating on whatever new project that they would go and put out. Like, I know that there are even some people who are ready to just go and throw their hate on Elemental despite not even planning to watch it for themselves to see if it's actually any good or not. And honestly, a part of me of what I am worried about is that because of that trend, I'm just worried if they're just gonna unnecessarily throw hate onto Once Upon a Studio, and they're just gonna find all the excuses to go and hate it and just be as cynical, you know, just to be like, oh, this is just corporate shilling. This is just Disney patting the back, you know, patting themselves on the back. This is exactly what they tried to do with Ralph Breaks the Internet. You know, like, you know, doing all that kind of bull crap of just throwing nothing but cynicism to it. And honestly, like, you know, and I just personally feel a little bit worried if that hate is just going to be growing so big to the point that, like, people are just going to be blinded by that hatred that they won't see the project for what it really is. And I mean, that's sadly the situation why some people have hated Lightyear. Like, I mean, like, everybody can have their own opinion, but you know, there are people out there who just wants to throw hate on Lightyear and have never once actually have seen it. And the same could even be said for stuff like Strange World or whatever new project that they would go and put out. So honestly, there's just a part of me that is worried that because of the recent trend of just hating, you know, hating Disney is cool, that at that point, I'm just worried if it would translate onto, let's just throw hate onto this new project for the lulz, despite the fact that maybe it could turn out to be great. Maybe this is what Disney fans would really want to see, especially the fact that, like, we're getting, you know, we're legit getting hand-drawn animation, or specifically Disney hand-drawn animation back to the big screen. I mean, it's only some of it, but still, though, at least it is worth noting. And especially Robin Williams' Genie coming back as well. So I don't know, there's just a part of me that just feels worried because of the current climate of cynicism that is going on. But for me, honestly, I just feel like this is a project that it really is, you know, honestly, I'm really excited to see what they have in store with this, especially with the promise of like hundreds of Disney characters coming together. I can't wait to see what Disney will have in store with this one. So I don't know if it's fully confirmed that it will be in front of Wish, but I don't know. We'll see how things are gonna go. But I'm definitely hyped to go and check it out. And with that said, I would like to go and pass this on to the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, how do you feel about Once Upon a Story? What do you think about all this? Are you excited for this? Are you more hesitant about it? Let me know what you think on this. Let's see. Someone isn't just excited. They are beyond excited for this. We haven't had a Disney crossover this ambitious outside of video games in a long time. The fact that we're getting both hand-drawn and CGI Disney characters in this excites me to no end. I'm kind of disappointed that Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm and the Muppets won't be getting in on the fun, but that's just me being greedy. And they're probably saving them for a House of Mouse revival. Let's hope that they don't botch this up like they did with Ralph Breaks the Internet. Well, I mean, for me, I would argue they didn't necessarily botch that up per se. But honestly, I don't know. Like, for me, I feel like this is something that they should just keep it as Disney, you know? And especially, like, I would say, hopefully they would do it better than Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Because, like, that one, I feel like that's just, you know, that one just feels like more satirical. It feels a little too jokey. It doesn't feel like something that truly does honor, and you know, that doesn't honor animation, or Disney animation especially. So something that feels more wholesome, that's a little bit more serious, something that truly wants to be a love letter, that I feel like I would be more down to that. So personally, like, yeah, Ralph Breaks the Internet isn't the best, but I mean, I say, like, in terms of the crossover element, they did it way better than Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. So yeah, that'll definitely be the hot take of the that's my hot take of the episode. Ralph Breaks the Internet is a better movie, and it's a better Disney crossover than Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Let's see what else do we have here. Just when you thought Avengers Infinity War was Disney's most ambitious crossover, here we have Once Upon a Studio. Hopefully this won't be too ambitious for its own good, but if done right, this could be a grand way to cap off the centennial anniversary. Also, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I'm also feeling that Disney wants to have one last hurrah for Mickey Mouse before he enters into the public domain. Nah, I'm saying it right now. Even if Mickey does enter in the public domain or whatever, he's gonna be fine. And I don't think anything is gonna change, because if people are gonna do like what they're doing if people are gonna do to Mickey like what they're doing right now with what they're doing with Winnie the Pooh, Disney is gonna take action. They will find the legal loopholes to keep Mickey theirs no matter what. Oh, let's see now. I actually met the co-directors of this short, Trent Connery, months ago at D23 Expo. He's a pretty cool guy and a great director. Now I get that out of the way. This is definitely the Smash Bros of Disney animation. I just can't wait to see this once Wish comes out. I'm sure it will be released alongside Wish, but I'm glad Disney Animation are using Robin Williams in the right way and his estate approving this. According to Josh Gad, we need to see this short as soon as possible. Oh, absolutely. And yeah, like, some people may be wondering, like, what about, like, what's on Robin Williams' will and all that kind of stuff. But the truth of the matter is that Disney got the full consent of everyone associated with Robin Williams. The estate is cool with this. His family is cool with this. And, like, you know, and when it comes to Disney, they would not have done this if they didn't get their approval. So, like, it's done with everyone's consent. So in that regard, we will see that great comeback of the genie as Aladdin. If anything, like, if there's a reason to go and watch this short, it's to see the genie come back. Specifically to see Robin Williams' genie come back. Let's see now. I am extremely excited for this short. Once Upon a Studio has a lot of potential to be a great tribute and love letter to the studio to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the company and a major Disney crossover. So overall, I'm excited. Also, with the hatred people have towards Disney, those people need to grow up as hell. Well, I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like the Disney haters have anything going on. It's not like they have, you know, it's not like they have a job or that they have a life. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, they don't. That's all they do. You know, hating on Disney is all they have in their lives. But anyways, if Once Upon a Studio that I'm hearing is amazing and lives up to the expectations that will be played before Wish, then I might be in for a delicious treat. I do love to see all the characters come together again as a way to play a love letter to the animation, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it when it comes out. or if it turns out better than the Wish movie itself, if Wish isn't good, who knows? I mean, who knows? It can happen, actually. Like, you know, there are times when the animated short can turn out to actually be much better than the movie itself. Like, I'm just saying, like, I did like the Angry Birds movie too, but hair love though, oh my god, I still stand by as one of the best things that Sony Animation has ever put out, like on par or debatably even better than any of the Spider-Verse films, I'm just saying. But with all that said and done, that should do it for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Thank you all so much for joining me on this episode. What a wild ride it has been, and I am so glad of how this episode turned out. It really did come out as a great time, and I had a great time as well. And considering that we are in the midst of the Annecy Film Festival, tune in for more crazy stories to come. There is a chance that we may hear some big announcements soon. And with all that said, I would also like to go and say, if you would like to go and follow me and hear more of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, then don't forget to go and follow me and actually subscribe to me on Twitch and on the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel. But then again, I do need to consider Kick as well. Maybe that could be an option in the future. But at the same time, though, if you are listening to me, hold on a sec. Ooh, there was something in my throat. But anyways, if you also would like to go and follow me on whatever podcast service, then keep in mind that I am on Spotify, Google, Amazon, iTunes, and all that kind of stuff. So with that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.